Today we are starting out with our stuffed pepper skillet, and I love this. This is a one pan meal, so it makes it very easy cleanup once we're done. These are the ingredients. I'm just using 1 pound of ground turkey. It's a little less expensive than ground beef or even ground pork, and so I like to use that. And so just going to go ahead, put that in the skillet and fry it up until it is nice and brown. Now I'm moving on to dicing up our green bell pepper. I'm just cutting out the seeds and the stem here and then dicing the pepper down into about the size of green pea bite size. Now obviously you can dice these as thick or as thin as you would like it. If your family is into strips of bell pepper, then you can do that instead, but we like ours diced a little bit finer, and so I will do a little bit more of a petite dice on our pepper. Then we're back over to the ground turkey meat, and then after I get it all chopped up so it can evenly cook, and then after that I like to add in some pepper to it, and you can add salt if you prefer, but a lot of the other items that we will be adding to this recipe have enough sodium count in them, and so I don't like to add any extra salt to it personally, but obviously you be the judge of your taste buds and what sounds great to you and your family. Now I'm just going to remove the excess grease from the meat, and now we are adding in the green bell pepper. Now another thing that you could add to this if you wanted to is diced onion, if that is something that you're into. Now obviously that raises the price of the meal, and so we're trying to keep it on the lesser expensive and under that $12 mark, and so wanted to do that. But if you wanted to add flavor, this is something you can get super creative with, and anything that your family likes. If you wanted to add in black beans or anything else, that would be delicious for this. Next, we are adding in 1 cup of medium heat salsa. We like it a little bit spicier, so we use medium, but if you prefer a more mild, you can do that instead. And we like to use brown rice because it is a little bit of a healthier choice. And so I will be dumping in 1.5 cups of that into the mixture and stirring it up and just letting it simmer. Now with the brown rice, it does take a little bit longer to cook than traditional white rice. And so it will take the meal probably about 40 minutes of simmering to get to where it's that nice soft consistency. So just consistently stir it occasionally so you're not sticking or anything, but just let it simmer and you will finally have this product. And all you'll need to do is add in the cheese, and so you are just sprinkling on the top whatever amount that you like. If you like it super cheesy, you can do that. If you like it less cheesy, then you can do that, or just skip the cheese altogether. You can very easily customize this meal, and it is quite tasty. You can either use some tortillas, or we just eat it plain just as is, but again, you can customize this with chips or extra salsa or whatever it is and have a fiesta night. Now we are on to another favorite of mine, and that is Kung Pao spaghetti. You heard right. This is super simple. All it takes is a box of spaghetti noodles, the Kung Pao stir fry sauce, and a pack of chicken. I use chicken tenders. It makes it a little bit easier to dice those up, but you can use breast or even pre-cut, whichever you prefer. And so I'm taking that, I'm putting in a tablespoon of oil into my skillet there and getting it hot and ready for the chicken. And then with the water in the back, I'm just getting that to boiling so that we're ready to make our yummy spaghetti. Now, when I made this particular night, I split it into 2 different pans for the reason of not all of my family likes spicy. So I do some of it in the Kung Pao sauce and then some of it in the teriyaki sauce that we have. So that is a little bit different recipe, but if you are not into spicy or you need to split it, this is another option. And then I just added some pepper. Now we are getting the water to boiling for our spaghetti noodles, and we're just going to add those and cook them according to the directions on the box. Super simple. simple. You can't mess up spaghetti noodles. So that is what we are doing. Now, also with this dinner, I like to throw in some of the stir fry mix from Aldi. It is my absolute favorite. It's like $2 and something, or at least it was. Grocery prices, you guys. But it was around $2 and something. So that's something inexpensive that you can add to the meal. But if you just wanted to do the chicken with the Kung Pao sauce and spaghetti, we have done that many times and it is delicious and simple. So just lots of options for adding a little spice to this meal, as well as if you have some, or if you wanted to pick some up, we like to get some even egg rolls or spring rolls from like Costco, and we'll have those in our freezer. That way we can pop those out and throw them in the air fryer, and they are absolutely delicious with this meal. And it's so good. A little bit of protein, a little bit of carbs, and it's delicious. Now we are on to creamy goulash. This is a fan favorite here in our house, and so we just have a box of penne pasta, the tomato, basil, and garlic tomato sauce, heavy whipping cream, more ground turkey, and then a thing of diced tomatoes with Italian seasonings. And so if you don't have any seasonings or needing to be super cheap, these items can mix together and have lots of flavor in them on their own without having to add anything. So these are just the petite diced tomatoes, and so they're really small. So if your family isn't a fan of like big chunky tomatoes, this is a really great option, and it's also great value, so it's a little more cost effective when you're doing that. Again, I'm using ground turkey with this, which makes it a little less expensive as well than ground beef. With the prices of beef right now, that definitely helps to cut down a bit on cost. Once the diced tomatoes have simmered for a bit with the ground turkey meat, I go ahead and add in the sauce, and that is the entire jar. Just dump it in, and then we're going to go in with 1 cup of the heavy cream and make this extra creamy, and it is so delicious, all mixed together. Tastes super good, and so this one is a favorite of ours. And then once the pasta is done, the penne pasta, we will just mix all of that together, and it is absolutely delicious. If you have any extra cheese or anything that you want to add to this, it makes it extra tasty. But if you don't and you just want to eat it as is, you're just doing super cost-effective meals, you can do that too. You could add a veggie on the side with this. Lots of options with these meals that I'm sharing, and lots of ways to spice it up. Personally, we love to top ours with some crushed red pepper to give it a little extra heat and kick to it, but if you like it just plain, that's great too. Now we're on to our last recipe, and that is my easy TaterTot casserole. We're going to start out with our ground turkey once again, and just going to brown that in our skillet and use a little bit of pepper, just chopping it up and getting it all cooked, and then we will drain it before our next step. And we're going to dice up an onion as you saw, and then take a half a cup of that and be able to sprinkle it in to our meat mixture here and just kind of tenderize that a bit, adding in that pepper and just a tad bit of salt, because a lot of the soups already have quite a bit of salt in them, so we prefer not to add that. Obviously, if you guys like things super salty, you can do that. Now I'm on to adding 1 teaspoon of garlic powder to the mix, as well as 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire, however you say that sauce. I don't know. I'm not even going to try anymore. That sauce, you'll add that in there, and then you're going to take your casserole pan and then spray it with some cooking spray, and so that way nothing is sticking. And after that, we will go in and add in our meat mixture, and so you'll just dump that into the bottom of the casserole dish and spread it evenly across the bottom. That way when you're dipping it out later, it is a nice even mixture, and someone's not getting a lot of meat and someone's getting less meat, so it's all one even thing. Then you're going to go in with your can of cream of mushroom and spread that across the bottom. Now, if you do like things a little more creamy or want it to taste a little more like it has a lot of gravy in it, then you could go ahead and add in a secondary can of cream of mushroom, or even add in a bit of water. Just fill the can up and swish it around a bit and then dump that in. A lot of tater tot casserole recipes call for green beans, but my family actually prefers corn in ours, so this is where we're a little different here. But you just dump that in, and then we are dumping in and doing 2 cups of cheese. I had purchased this entire 2-cup bag of cheese, of mild cheddar cheese, to be able to put in this, but someone had dove into my cheese, and so I ended up having to make it work and mix in another cup of mozzarella that I have left over from one of the previous recipes that I showed. So you can do that. You can do all cheddar, you could do all mozzarella, whatever your preferred cheese is, you could do that. Oh, even some pepper jack would probably be good on this. I just had that thought. We will have to try pepper jack next time. But then after you get your cheese evenly spread out, you'll go in with your tater tots and layer, and put all of them across the top. You will probably have tater tots left over. I know I did, unless you're doing a gigantic, like really thin casserole pan, then you might not have any left over. But for the most part, you'll have some left over and can maybe throw those in the air fryer and have them for a snack another day. And then you're just going to pop it in the oven on 375 for about 35 to 40 minutes. It usually takes us 40 minutes for them to be completely golden brown on the top and the cheese to be all nice and melty and the soup mixture to be kind of bubbly and nice and hot. So usually cook that for about 40 minutes and it comes out delicious and piping hot and ready to go. So I hope you guys enjoy these recipes. If you make them, you'll have to let me know, or if you add anything and you're like, oh my gosh, I tweaked it and did this and it was delicious, come back, let us know in the comment section. I would love to try it because I'm all the time trying these in different ways and versions, just switching it up, you guys. Sometimes you get tired of having things the same way over and over again, so it's fun to try and experiment with food. But thank you guys again. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video, as well as subscribe if you are new, and thank you guys again so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.